Welcome. All right, guys, today's topic, we're gonna be talking about macros. How do you determine how many macros you should be eating? This is a great question and a very hard one to answer because there are so many variables that determine how many macros you should be eating. Things like your activity level, your age, your sleep, your genetics, your environment, your training schedule, your weight, a lot of things. And here's the crazy thing, it changes. So you can't become too dependent on one number, which is why changing the numbers all the time is super vital. But let's just say you walked up to me on the street, you had 2 minutes, and you were like, hey, Will, I got 2 minutes. How could I determine how many macros I should eat? And I would say, well, first of all, it's gonna change all the time. But if I had to give you an equation right now, I would say this. Take your body weight and times your body weight. So let's first, hold on, scratch that. Let's talk proteins, carbs, and fats, right? So I'm assuming you know macros are proteins, carbs, and fats. And you wanna know how many proteins should I eat? How many carbs should I eat? How many fats should I eat to get the results that I want? So again, it all depends on a starting place, which is probably not gonna be very accurate. You're gonna have to learn to adjust, which is the fun part because then you learn your own blueprint and you are dependent on yourself to make modifications. You're welcome, I just saved you a lot of money, okay? So first things I'm gonna say, protein. How do you determine how much protein you should eat? So general rule of thumb, you're gonna wanna go half to 1 gram, half a gram to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, I would urge you to stay under 1 gram, less than 1 gram, maybe somewhere in between half a gram to 1 gram per pound. Now, for carbohydrates, you're looking at about 1 gram per pound to 1.5 grams per pound. So your carbohydrates should be a little bit more, okay? Now fat, I wanna keep that a little bit on the lower end to start, okay? So you're looking at like 0.25 to half a gram of fat per pound of body weight. Sounds like a math equation, it's not that hard. And if it gets really hard, just Google macro calculator. Something will spit you out some numbers. Odds are there's gonna be 20 different macro calculators that all spit you out 20 different numbers, not even the number that I'm recommending to you. So why? Well, none of them are right, to be absolutely honest. You have to build a base. You have to find what your foundation is. So you start there, right? Then you do those for a week and you go, man, I don't know, it feels like a lot of food. So you pull back on one of the macros, or man, I'm losing a lot of energy. Well, carbs are energy, so maybe you need some more carbs. Or maybe your fat is really low and you're craving a lot of fat, so maybe you need a little more fats. Maybe you're having a hard time eating all the protein, so you cut back on the protein. See what I'm saying? But you have to make the change and they stay consistent over a week, jot down your results, and then adapt and adjust. Or if you don't have time to do that, you hire somebody to do it, or you look up a macro calculator, which are typically free. The key is in the adjustments. It's not what the actual macros are. Again, that's just a foundation. And never forget, quality is king. Because, once you think about this, whatever the total amount is, if it's poor quality, you're not going to digest and absorb all of it because odds are that amount is made up of things that your body can't use, so your body gets rid of it. So you're not even taking in 100% of whatever it is. Now shift over here to high quality. You're going to absorb and digest more of the higher quality foods, therefore utilizing more of the vital macros, micros, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, etc. So, hope you got some decent information out of that, and I hope you learned a little bit more about how to determine what your macros are. And that's all I have for today. So again, guys, thank you for joining me.